All right, there's a little video clip that I found, and I just wanted to share it. It's more evidence that the media is out of control. And this guy's calling for George's death because he dare suggest that God's in control. Well, let's listen.
Y'all might as well give George Zimmerman the death penalty now. Put him in the chair, man.
What do you think about that? He has no evidence that George did anything illegal. George is still claiming self-defense, but he's saying kill him. So we've got what, maybe 5,000 listeners on his show. And of those listeners, at least 70-80% of them agree with him on these issues. So when he says George should die right now, a lot of those people in their minds are forming thoughts of, you're right. If I could see that guy, I'd probably kill him. Well, of course, we've got the judge over here saying, oh, no, George isn't in any danger at all. He doesn't even need to be allowed to leave this county. How ridiculous. I mean, just go on my channel and look at the comments on my videos about how people want to kill George if they can get their hands on him. And tell me that judge isn't a complete idiot. Anyhow, the main point of this video is this guy wants to kill George not because George killed Trayvon. He wants George dead because he suggests that George is claiming it was God's will that Trayvon die.
I know it sounds okay. Wow.
Okay.
I know it sounds crazy, but when I heard this last night on Fox News of all places.
Fox News of all places, the only place on national TV that George can get at least a slightly fair hearing. I mean, in the beginning, even Fox was being biased as hell. And now Fox found out that it wasn't George at all. That was it. Now they understand. They're starting to look at the facts. The liberals won't look at it, not because of George or not because of what he said about God or any of that other stuff. The liberals, the left wing, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, all of them, they all have an agenda. Their agenda is they want to kill stand your ground. They want to kill gun laws that support the use of guns to protect individuals. They want us, law-abiding citizens, to be in fear for our lives and be in need of the government to defend and protect us. They don't want individuals to be powerful. They don't want individuals to be able to stand their ground or protect themselves. They want the criminals to have power over us. They like the fact that criminals can bust into our door and hold us hostage in our own houses and kill us and rob us. They don't mind that. But as soon as one of these thugs gets shot, they're up in arms. It's a big stinking deal. I mean, why won't they go after the criminals? Why don't they make a big stinking deal about the criminals that break into houses? Why don't they? Because they don't care.
It was all God's plan, and for me to second guess it or judge.
Ooh, this really pissed him off. This was it. It was God's plan, George said. For him to second guess God's plan would be presumptuous. And everybody who's a follower of Christ, and even people who don't believe in Jesus but believe in God, they would agree with that statement that whatever happens in somebody's life, that if you're a believer in God, you believe that God has his hand in your life. And for you to suggest that something bad happened in your life and that wasn't God's will, well, maybe you're mistaken there. A lot of bad things happen to people, and it teaches them a lesson, and we move on. Whatever it was that God was teaching George, I'm not sure. I think it was more a matter of God teaching the world. Or maybe this is an opportunity for other spiritual beings to take advantage of the racial tensions that are in this country.
Is there anything you might do differently in retrospect now that time has passed a little bit? No, sir.
They asked if he would do anything differently. Of course not. What could he do differently? He got out of the car to see where George went, or Trayvon went, and Trayvon beat him up. What did you want him to do differently? A lot of people say, yeah, you should have stayed in the car. You should have stayed home. You shouldn't even be a night watchman. You shouldn't be concerned with your neighborhood. Go back to your house, close and lock your doors, close all your windows, and cower in there. Be a sissified baby. Don't secure your neighborhood. Don't look outside. If you see a crime, be like the black community. Don't tattle. Don't tell anybody. Hide it. Cover it up. I mean, we have a crime in our neighborhood or in our black neighborhood that's in our town, and you're not going to get any information. We have shootings over there. Do you think that they ever get solved? And you want to know why they don't get solved? You want to know why black kids get killed and it doesn't get solved? It's because the black community refuses to tell on each other, or they're afraid of it. So this is a real problem. But they don't even care. You could have, 275 people were gunned down in Chicago, in Obama's hometown, this year. And that was the evidence. I heard that a couple weeks ago, so it's probably a lot more now. Of those 275, 94% of them were black, the people that got shot. Where's the outrage? I'll tell you why there's no outrage. It's because these are the children. These are the little babies that Obama talks about all the time. These are the little babies that could be his children. So he doesn't want to say, these guys are out of control. They need to be controlled. There needs to be something done. We need to come in here and stop this. Talk to the parents. Why are the children out after dark? See, in Florida, we've changed the laws. We'll hold the parents responsible. If your kids are out after dark and they're doing bad things and they get caught, we're going to hold you responsible. And maybe that's what they need to do in a lot of these other places like Chicago. But Chicago is not like that at all. They coddle the criminals. They coddle the parents of the criminals. So I guess this is Obama's will that a lot of black kids die, because he's certainly not concerned about it.
That's crazy. I have always had the hunch that this dude was really stupid. Like, he may be part Hispanic and for some reason have a Jewish-sounding last name.
So he said he knew this guy was stupid, right? Really stupid. You know, he may be Hispanic, and he may have a Jewish name. In other words, this guy's probably Jewish Hispanic. And he's saying Jewish Hispanics are smart. That's not racist, is it? Nah, he's not a racist just because he thinks Hispanics and Jews are smart, or Jewish Hispanics are smart. Nah, that wouldn't make him racist, would it? Nah. Listen to this.
Guy is nothing but a Florida backwoods bumpkin.
So he's not racist, but he sure thinks that people that live in Florida in the backwoods are bumpkins, idiots. And apparently he has no respect.
More obvious last night when this creep decided to do his first interview and do it where else than someplace he would feel at home. Fox News.
That's funny. What other news outlet is there that would even let him tell his story? Really? They don't want the truth. The only way that he would have any airtime on CNN, ABC, CBS, any of the other ones would be if he were to go in there and say, we need to kill Stand Your Ground because of this case. I should have never had a gun. It was terrible. I made a big mistake. I should never have done that. If he would have said all that stuff, he would have been welcome on any of those channels. But guess what? Ain't no way he's going to get on those channels saying what he said last night. No way. Because it's his story. It's what really happened, at least in his mind. You know? A lot of stuff happened that night in a short period of time. So his memory of what happened could be off a little bit here and there. And I give him all the benefit of all that doubt. The problem I have is that people like this seem to think that it's okay to incite racial tensions and hatred and violence towards this man. Let's kill him. He needs to die. Get a rope. Get a big tree. Let's frickin' hang this bastard. Let's lynch him. Let's lynch him. He killed a black boy. Lynch him. This is the KKK in reverse.
Then, to mention God, and somehow say the death of a 17-year-old boy could be part of God's plan?
That's it. This is why he thinks George should be killed. Not because what happened to Trayvon, but because how dare he suggest that God has his plan, and God's plan includes some 17-year-olds being killed. You know? How ridiculous. This guy is suggesting that in God's big world, there's no room for 17-year-olds to die, that in God's big plan, that's not part of the plan. Excuse me? I would disagree with that. You know? What do they think? That all of God's plan is all rosy and flowers and that's all God's plan is about? Maybe somebody should read the Bible.
Defensive. It is clear, outright hatred and racism.
The hatred and racism is coming out of the mouth of the bald-headed guy on the screen.
Zimmerman, you make it easy for us to hate you.
It may be easy for you to hate George, but when we look at you on this video and we listen to the words coming out of your mouth, all I see is hatred, lots of hatred coming out of your mouth. And it makes me want to never see your show again. In fact, this is probably the only time I'll see it, other than maybe trying to find some more evidence to support George's lawsuit against you.
Absolutely no remorse, and you want to talk about God's plan? Listen, you can find out all you need to know about God's plan when you see him, which unfortunately for you is going to happen much sooner than you would like.
So he's hoping and praying that George gets killed. And he's saying that George is going to be meeting his maker a lot sooner than George would like. Let's continue.
Continue to sound like this.
If you continue to sound like this. So if you continue to speak your mind, tell the story as you saw it and you remember it, we're going to kill you. You're not going to live. You're going to be killed. That is illegal. This man, if criminal charges aren't brought at the very minimum, civil suit, take his money, and that would be the end. I'd be more than happy with that. Just take his money and give it to George. But, I mean, anybody who suggests that it's okay for this guy to be stirring this racial tension and to be inciting violence, they need to look up the laws. If you have a problem and you don't believe me when I say that it's illegal to incite violence against an individual, go ahead and drop a little note down here below the video and let me know, and I'll go ahead and prove to you that it is illegal to incite violence against an individual.